Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to go over unethical and coercive infant adoption practices, so I'm going to get right into it. An unnecessary and unethical infant adoption refers to a situation where a baby is placed for adoption under circumstances that do not justify the separation of a child from their biological parents, and where ethical principles such as informed consent, the best interests of the child, and the rights of the biological family are violated. Here are some things to look out for. If family preservation was possible and the biological parents or extended family could have cared for the child but were pressured or misled into relinquishing them. Parents may have been financially struggling but could have raised the child with proper support. Adoption in this case becomes a solution of social inequality rather than true necessity. Parents may have been misled about their options, pressured into adoption, are not fully given information about the available resources. Mothers, often young, poor, or vulnerable, are manipulated into placing their baby for adoption. Lack of informed consent. If birth parents are not given adequate time, counseling, or clear understanding of the long-term impact, the adoption is unethical. Adoption severs you from your child. It is just like losing a child to death if you don't get to see or talk to them again. And sometimes in open adoptions, if the adopted parents choose to close the adoption, it can make things so much worse because you're expecting this is going to be a open relationship and they close it off. Knowing that this person is living and growing without you, it can be extremely, extremely damaging. Adoption agencies or facilitators may prioritize financial gain over the well-being of the child and family. Sometimes even engage in fraudulent or illegal practices. Cultural and family ties. When children are unnecessarily placed with families of a different background without efforts to keep them within their cultural or biological community. This is what happened to me, and I can tell you 100% it was extremely confusing, and it's a lifelong process of identity and building a sense of belonging to my identity and my racial identity. Ethical adoptions prioritize the child's best interest, ensure parents are making truly voluntary decisions, and seek family preservation whenever possible. When these principles are ignored, adoption can become an exploitative industry rather than a child-centered act. Now I'm going to read from adoption.com. This is a page, I will link it in the description below. It says, this is just a chunk from the page, but it says, obvious coercion. Many states have laws that state that a spouse or family member cannot force a woman into placing her child for adoption, either by threat, ultimatum, or manipulation. Other types of very obvious coercions include withholding counseling or prenatal care to the mother based on an adoption procurement. Telling a woman that she is unfit to parent to obtain an adoption placement. Telling her she made a commitment and she cannot change her mind after deciding on adoption. Using guilt or shame to force her to place her child. Terminating her rights while she is impaired or before she is ready. And many more. A woman's choice should never be taken from her in any way. If she decides adoption placement, it should be because she has weighed all options, looked into all resources, and feels adoption is in her and her child's best interests. And then it goes into subtle coercion. When adoption lawyers, agencies, and other professionals have policies across the board, it is easy to believe that it is okay and just the way adoption is done. Some practices assumed to be right can actually be quite coercive, even if unintentionally done so. Some examples of these type of coercive adoption practices include paying living assistance, providing expectant mother housing, maternity homes, creating guilt by constantly reiterating she is making the right decision, which implies that if she changed her mind, it would be the wrong decision, counseling provided only by the agency, that's a huge red flag, telling her open adoption will heal all of her pain. Like I said before, open adoption is not legally enforceable. It varies from state to state. Just listen to birth parents that said they had a legal open adoption and now the adoption parents choose to close it and now they can't see or talk to their kids anymore. it's heartbreaking. Calling her a birth mother before placement, giving gifts, making promises that are never intended to be kept, or other ways of putting her in a place where she feels her pre-birth decisions must be followed through with after birth. Now, you may be wondering how paying living expenses is coercive. When there is financial or material gain to a person, she may believe she owes the hopeful adoptive family because of what she accepted during her pregnancy. How about being called a birth mother before placement? Being called a birth mother has already positioned her in a role that she may feel she has a duty to fulfill. Adoption language plays a strong role in ethical adoption. It can be used to impact a woman's emotions and make her feel good or bad about placement. If you are using the positive, modern adoption language out of respect, that is a good thing. But if you are using it to twist the emotions of adoption to your benefit, then it is deemed coercive. But anyways, I hope this video helps. I will see you in the next video.